I'll be discussing regarding MATLAB Simulink. So I'll be doing that part. Hmm. Then I'll share. Uh, I have shared the screen. Is it visible? I have at present syllabus copy is open. Is it visible to you all?
Yes,
Can
sir.
you?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
visual.
Okay. Myself and Sadashiv sir will be handling advanced communication lab for A3 B3 batch. So in this lab, right, it's a mixture of three, four parts together. So in which you will be studying one experiment related to analog communication, then another experiments related to digital communication, and then again you come across with the microwave communication and optical fiber communication. So these are the aspects what you'll be going through, and along with that, you'll be dealing with the Simulink aspects, that is simulation part. So in part A, right, we have first experiment, which is time division multiplexing, which is nothing but related to your multiplexing with respect to time domain, multiplexing multiple signals with respect to time domain and demultiplexing the same. So this is basically when you see it, it is nothing but it is related to the analog signals what you are multiplexing. So this relates to the analog aspect. Now coming down to experiment number 2, 3, and 4. I think you have come across the terms ASK, FSK, and PSK. These are nothing but the modulation techniques, which are digital modulation techniques. Now, later on, we'll just discuss as to communication, how it is divided into analog and digital communication. So that we'll discuss later. So these modulation techniques are nothing but the digital modulation techniques. How in analog modulation you had AM, FM, and PM, right? The similar concept is applied, but in this case, the input information will be in a digital form, which is either logical 0 or logical 1. So only two possible values. But in analog, what happens is if analog input is there, there are multiple possible values. So those are the differences which come across. And apart from that, what happens if I go for digital modulation, how it is advantageous to digital analog modulation. So those are things you can just explore. Okay. So these ASK, FSK, and PSK are related to digital communication aspects. Then fifth experiment, when you see it is related to microwave test bench experiment. So this fifth experiment in which you will be dealing with the identification of frequency, guide wavelength, power, VSWR, that is voltage standing wave ratio, and attenuation. So you have a test bench. Using that test bench, we try to utilize these things, or we try to measure these aspects. Now, next experiment is measurement of something called as directivity and gain with respect to the antennas. So in this case, you will be dealing with the dipole and Yagi-Uda antenna, and we will be dealing with the microstrip device, microstrip dipole and microstrip Yagi-Uda antenna. So this is also related to microwave communication aspect. Now, seventh experiment, if you just observe what we'll be doing is we'll be using again microstrip device, which is a microstrip directional coupler, and try to identify what is its coupling and isolation characteristics. Then we'll be using a microstrip ring resonator in order to identify the resonance behavior and try to identify what is the dielectric constant of the material which has been used to develop this ring resonator. Then apart from that, we conduct another experiment for microstrip power divider in which we are checking the power division and isolation, how it happens and whether in what way it is happening. So that is what we are checking out here. So experiment number 5, 6, 7. So these are all related to microwave communication. Now in these experiments, right, 1 up to 4, what you're doing is you're dealing with RF signals, and that is low frequency signals. So that is what you're doing here. But in this case, right, when you come across, you come to the say frequency ranges in the range of gigahertz. So here it will be in the range of say up to megahertz, some kilohertz to megahertz or hertz to kilohertz. You are dealing with those aspects, but here you will be dealing with higher frequency range, that is microwave range. So last eighth experiment, which is hardware related, is again measurement of propagation loss, bending loss, numerical aperture, and optical fiber of an optical fiber. So this is nothing but optical fiber communication aspect. So when you use optical fiber, what happens when there is a bend and what is the amount of loss that has been introduced? So how I can identify it in experimental point of view, and the optical fiber what I am using. So what is its numerical aperture? What is importance of a numerical aperture? So why it has to be measured, and what will be the propagation loss, and whether it is better than the other, say the copper cable or any other say medium what you're using. So those all things you get to know in this experiment. That is the eighth experiment. So first one is related to analog. These 2 3 4 are related to digital communication. 5 6 7 are related to microwave communication, and this one is related to optical fiber communication. In this one, we have to conduct the experiments 1 to 4 using discrete components. So these will be rigging it up on the say the breadboard. We have to rig it up on the breadboard, and then we have to conduct the experiment. The others, you have either say a test bench or a setup which is available, or a kit which is available. So we'll be using those things for these. Then coming down to part B, so as they have mentioned, you can use Scilab, MATLAB, or Simulink, or LabVIEW. So any of these you can use. So since already you know MATLAB in your DSP, this thing you have already dealt with this, and you know how to write a MATLAB code and execute it, run and see how to debug it. So you know all these things. So we could do the same thing, that is these experiments which I mentioned here. We can do the same experiments using MATLAB code. But what myself and sir have decided is we are thinking of going with Simulink, so that you can deal with something new, you can study something new, and you can explore something in this. MATLAB already you know, so no need to worry about that. And so Simulink, what we'll do is we'll try to understand Simulink, and we'll try to implement these experiments. So by doing this, what we're trying to do is we are making you aware of some new say a tool, that is Simulink, how to use it, and how to explore these things, and what can be done. So that is what we are trying to achieve here. So in apart from your regular syllabus, this thing you come across with one new thing, that is Simulink. So we'll try to use it and try to run these simulation experiments. So in this one, first one experiment, if you just see, it is simulate NRZ, RZ, half sinusoid, and raised cosine pulses. So these are nothing but data representations. So whenever you have digital data, right, 0101, you need to represent it in voltage level forms. So what voltage is assigned for 0, what voltage is assigned for 1, and how the things you can adjust. So those all things we'll be discussing in, you'll be simulating in this part. Then next you'll be simulating pulse code modulation and demodulation. So this is nothing but actually, it is actually not modulation and demodulation. It is actually you're doing something called a sampling and again getting back the original information. So that is what you're trying to do here. So PCM is related. PCM is pulse code modulation. PCM is related to that aspect. So that also you are simulating. Then apart from that, QPSK, that is quadrature phase shift keying. So you try to simulate QPSK aspect and try to get back the original signal at the receiver. That is what you're trying to achieve. And also you're trying to look out what will be the constellation diagram. I hope you remember what is meant by constellation, what is QPSK, what is NRZ, RZ. So those are the things. And lastly, we come across with the binary DPSK, wherein we make use of binary differential phase shift keying. We try to implement it, but as suggested, it has to be done using non-coherent detection technique. So these are the simulation experiments which we'll be conducting. So as we are going online and we are planning, say VTU is planning to make the classes in physical form by next month. So if it comes into existence, then that is well and good. So by then, what we are thinking is we are thinking let us go ahead with the simulation experiments. So at least 2-3 experiments, if we are able to complete in say coming 2-3 weeks, we'll be getting. So once we get that, if we are able to complete this, then by the time if you come back, if everything is fine, then we can go ahead with hardware experiments. So that is what we are planning now. Now, in order to do part B, right? I suggest one thing. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If anything is there, one of you can just specify if say screen gets disabled or something happens, right? You can just inform me back. Okay. So once you install
Okay, sir.
MATLAB, okay. Once you install MATLAB, right, you can open the MATLAB. Now in MATLAB, I think you might have written in script. You might have done so many things that you type the code CLC something close all. I think you have done all these things, right? Hmm? Some things you assign. You do all these things and you run it. Okay. Hmm? So you have done all these things. And then you have done some sampling, I think. Then some of the experiments wherein you implemented digital filters. So these all things you have done. So this is done in script form, wherein you write the .m file and you try to execute and see whether your code is running fine or not. So now what we want to do is we want to open Simulink. So Simulink is a part of MATLAB. So which is a kind of toolbox which is available. So in this one, open MATLAB. So once you open MATLAB, I can open Simulink in two ways. One with the help of command in the typing the command in the command prompt, and another one is with the help of a button which is presented in the tab. So first one, if I just check out, so under Home tab, here you can see that you have something called as Simulink. All can just see it. One can just reply.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what you have to do is you have to click this to open Simulink. It will take some time because it will not be running during the runtime. If you have enabled it during the runtime, that is when you start the system, then it's okay. Otherwise, it will take time. I have already opened it, so it will not take time for me. So it opens up. That is, you just click this. It opens this Simulink, say window. So in which you have so many options. So these are the options which are available. So under this Simulink, you have these all things available. That is blank model, blank library, blank project, code generation, digital filters, HDL code generator, signal processing. So these all things are available. But if I just happen to see, so okay, aerospace block set is there. So in my case, I am having this. So if you go to lower versions, few of them might not be available. So no need to worry, but just check whether you have Simulink or not. Simulink is present in from the old version itself, so no need to worry about that. So then, if you just see, these are the boxes which are available in these cases. Say Vision HDL toolbox is there, under which you have some basic model. Then you have Simscape. I think you had done this thing, right? Powertrain block set. So this is related to your automotive. Then again, you have even toolboxes for neural networks, for image acquisition. So many options are available. So these are just a few things to discuss. So this is one way of opening the Simulink window. So now another way of opening the Simulink window is go to command window. Go to command window. So in command window, type Simulink. So this is the command and press enter. So this also opens the Simulink window. This also opens the Simulink window. So again, the same thing comes up. Now in this Simulink window, I take a blank model. So which will help me to create a model. So I'll click on this. So when I click, a new model gets created. So this is where you have to draw the blocks and make the connections and try to check out whether you're getting the expected results or not. So that is what you're trying to check out. Okay. Is it fine up to this point?
Yes, sir, it's fine.
So I'll just keep it on half window. So now this is blank, so nothing is there. So how do I go ahead with, say, I want to put some blocks and try to test. Say I want to test a ASK circuit, or I want to build a ASK block and see how I can go ahead, or I want to just try to see how the blocks can be added. So now I'll just be concentrating on how do I just put the blocks over in this model, and how I interconnect, and how do I observe the output. So that is what I'll be stressing in this particular class. Okay. So now first one, so once I open this, that is using the blank model, I'll get an untitled this thing. So what you can do is you can save it. So make it a habit. So whatever you are doing, better to save it. So what I'll do is I'll write test2. So it will be saved in .slx format. So apart from this, you will be having .mdl format. So don't disturb anything. So let it be .slx format. So you have given test2.slx. So if the type would be Simulink model, the type would be Simulink model. So I'll just save it. So the model has been saved. Now, since nothing is there, these buttons are disabled. Since nothing is available, so these all things are disabled. Now, how do I add the blocks? There are three different ways in order to add the blocks to the models. Now, what is meant by blocks is you have some pre-existing blocks which you can utilize to carry on with your, say, simulation experiment. So, in order to add blocks, right, what you have to do is in the above taskbar, right, you can see something called as library browser. So when I click this library browser, a library gets opened. So this is the library browser which we have opened. Okay. So under this again, you can check that the same things what we had seen over there, right? We have Simulink, which under which we have all these stuffs. So that is, these are the things. So if I just click the commonly used blocks, so these are the things which are available. Then say logic operators. So these are the things which are available in any other things. If I just check. So source, you can see you have a step generator, you have a sine wave generator, you have a signal generator. So random number generator. So many different things are available. So now even we had checked aerospace block set, right? So these are the things which are available under aerospace block set. Say image acquisition toolbox, neural network I had specified, right? So here you have neural network. So under this, these options are available. Okay. So these are few things which are available. Then Vision HDL toolbox. So these are the things which are available. At present, we'll be concentrating much on the Simulink part. So if anything required from the other, we can just check out and we can utilize those. So now what I want to do is, I want to say have a sine wave generator, and I want to see what is the signal that is being generated. So this is like how you test the signal generator in your lab. So you have to connect it to the CRO and then adjust the frequency and other steps, and then go ahead. So that is somewhat in same form. So in order to do that, go to library browser. So this browser gets opened. Now, first way of adding the blocks to your model file is, say I want a sine wave generator. So under Simulink, I may get it under sources. Now it will take some time to identify where which blocks are there. So no need to worry about that. So once you get familiar, right, you will be able to remember the names or you'll be able to identify it directly. So under Simulink, you have sources. So in sources, you can see that there is a sine wave block here. All of you can observe this. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So you have a sine wave block. Now, how do I add it to the model file? So I'll just keep this in half the thing so that it becomes easy for me to show it side by side. Okay, so this is my model file and this is the library what I have opened. So now you can see that I want to put a sine wave block over here. So I have a sine wave. So first method of putting this block into your test2 model is simple drag and drop. So click and hold the block, drag it and drop it where you want in the model file. Say in test2 model file what we have created. So there I am putting it. So now you can see that the model for the block sine wave block is appearing in test2 model file. So this is first way of adding the blocks to the model file. Now there is another method of how you add it to these files. So that is you go to the block, right click. So when you right click, you can see that you get some option like add block to model test2. Your model is test2. So what we have to do, we right click, add the model to test2. So this gets added over here. This gets added. Suppose if I want to add something else, so what happens is this gets added. Okay. So one is drag and drop, one is right click and add the block to the model. So there is another one method. This method you use it when you're familiar with all the blocks. So if we disconnect, right, again we'll connect back with the same ID. Okay. If we get disconnected. So I'll be continuing
Okay.
till it gets disconnected. Okay. So now, so there is third method. Third method, I suggest you use the third method unless and until you get familiar with the names of the blocks. Now, for example, I want to put in a sine wave block. So what you do is you click anywhere. You click anywhere and type. Say I want a sine. I want a sine wave. So why I'm telling you to be specific is you use when you're familiar is, so you can see that I think if it is it visible to all? It is showing sine Simulink lookup tables in this drop down what it has given.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what happens is sine wave, sine when I type sine I have under Simulink lookup tables. Then there is another one option. So sine. So when I type, what happens is you get so many options. So here the option is Simulink. The sine wave is available under Simulink sources. Here we have another sine wave which is DSP system toolbox HDL support. So under that sources. So again we have DSP system toolbox under that again sources. So these are the different things which are available. Now come back to this library this thing. So what you can see is under Simulink you have sources. So from that I had taken this. Suppose I want this block. So then what happens is you have to check out whether you are choosing the appropriate path in order to choose that appropriate block. Suppose if I choose this, so I am getting the same thing. Suppose if I make a mistake, say I'll take it from some other. So what happens is you'll get something else itself. Name is sine wave itself. Name is sine wave. but I'm getting some other toolbox. So I suggest you use this method when you're familiar of the block names and where it falls. So under which part it falls. So that is what I suggest. So these are the three different methods wherein you drag and drop, then you right click and add the block, or you type it in the model this thing itself and you try to get the blocks. Okay. So I am deleting the others. I just want the sine wave. Now what I want is I want to see what type of wave is being generated here. It is mentioning sine wave. I want to identify, say, okay, what is the frequency? What is the time period? So these things. So I have to have a scope over here. That is nothing but a CRO or a oscilloscope, what we specify. So in this one, right, if I just check, so on the sinks, I'll just check whether I'm having a scope. So I have a scope over here. I can take this. Suppose if you don't know, but you know the name, but where it falls, there are so many toolboxes. And if you're using multiple toolboxes, I know the name of the block, but I don't know where it falls. So what you can do is in this search bar, right, you type the name of the block and press enter. So what it does is it gives you all the available things which come with the name of a scope or fall under scope. So there are so many different things which are available. So my interest is in this case. So this one, so which is under Simulink commonly used blocks. So what I'll do is I'll right click and add it to this one. So I have added it. So this is what is available. This is what is available. So now, so two blocks I have added. One is sine wave generator, one is a scope. I want to have an interconnection between these two, like how you have a probe, right? You connect it. So I want to have an interconnection between these two. So what you do is you can see that there is a small tip which is present at this end, and there is a small arrow mark which is present at the scope end. So what you do is you take a cursor and move it towards that tip, and when it gets changed to plus sign, click and hold it. Click and hold it and drag it to the point where you want to connect it. So click and hold and drag it to the point. You will see the arrow. So when it becomes solid, it implies that it gets connected, and leave it. So this is what is happening. So now it is interconnected. So these two are interconnected. So now what you have done is you have dragged and dropped the blocks, and you have made the connections. Now I want to see the results. Do I get the results directly? So I'll just try to check out. So if you write a code and just set, whether you'll get the results directly. What you do? You have to compile it. You have to compile and then run. So if there are no errors, then only it will be executed. But if there are some errors, then execution won't be possible. So what I'll do is, if I want to I have made the connection, but I want to save this. Sorry, I want to execute this. So before executing, whatever changes are there, I'll just save it by pressing Ctrl S. So I have saved whatever changes I have made. So now, in order to run this entire model, that is test2 model, what I have to do is, you can just see that there is a small play button over here. So when I hover around, it tells that run. So when I click this, what happens is, it tries to compile. So now compilation is done and it is running and it is ready. So it has compiled, it has run the system, and it is ready to see the results. So now what I can do is, now where do I check the results? So whenever you connect a sine wave, say connect a signal generator to a scope, where do you observe the results? You will observe it on the scope. Now how do I obtain the results? What I do is I go on the block, I double click this. I go on the scope block, I double click it. Now what has happened? So you can see some sine wave is being displayed on the screen. All are able to see it?
Yes, sir, we can see it.
Okay. So here we have a sine wave. So it is somewhat more in from 0 to 10. It is slightly just more than say one and a half, more than 1.5 cycle is present in this given period. Okay. Now, next thing which comes is, so I'll just show it over here. Now you are seeing that the peak amplitude is +1 and -1, and say the period is from this point 0 to up to this point. That is something 6.2 or something is present. Now I want to make some changes. Say I want to give a sine with this much amount of frequency. Then how do I change it? So here, go on the sine wave block. So similarly for other blocks also you have some options. So there also you'll be doing the same thing. So double click on the block. So you can see some block parameters are being displayed. So this is the block parameter for the sine wave which is available. So output is generated using this equation. What are the samples which are given? So these are the things. So don't make any major changes. You have time based and sample based. So don't make any changes in the present this thing. Whenever required, we'll just change it. So now here you can see that amplitude is 1. So now what I'll do is I'll make amplitude as 2. Let me see what happens. So I have made the change, but nothing has changed here. Now, when you're writing say C programming or C++ or any programming, if you make any changes in the line of codes and if you don't compile it, so it will not give you the result what you are expecting. So here also again, when we make changes, we have to run it. Just observe this oscilloscope when I run the system. So what has happened? Previously it was up to 1, now it has gone up to 2. So 2 implies that positive peak is 2, negative peak is -2. So that is what it implies. So now peak to peak amplitude is changed. Suppose I want to change the frequency. So you can see bias is there, don't disturb that. Frequency, it is in radians per second. So be careful when you're specifying something over here. So what I'll do is I'll put 2 radians per second. Others I'll not disturb. So I'll apply this. Okay. So again, I have made the changes, but I haven't run the say the model, or I haven't compiled it. So what I'll do is just again observe this. I'll compile it and it will run by itself. So when it runs,